So my
Is it
story
about your son?
is about my son, Samuel. He is my 5th child.
5th.
He's number 5. Yes. And right now he's 2.5. So
What age did you start? 2?
I know.
You're very young.
I think I'm 32. Or I'm 32. Or this year I'll be 32. See, I have too many kids. I can't remember my age.
So let's go back a second. You've
Okay.
got 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
What was your view on vaccines right throughout it?
At first, very uneducated. Didn't know anything. However, I just was cautious. I kind of was, to be honest, I was that mom who was so overwhelmed. Kept forgetting my baby checkups, and then I would think, oh, well, they don't really need that shot, really? I always was I never felt this angst to get in there and get them their vaccines, but I didn't have any reason why I thought that way. So I guess backing up, with all 5 of my children, it was almost by accident that I didn't have them fully vaccinated. However, they did have some vaccines in their first years. Some, very few, but some. And thankfully, because
you missed the appointment.
Just because I kind of would miss, and then when I would go back, I'm like, no, I don't really want them to get all these extras and get caught up like you're saying. Why don't we go with this one? And maybe it was just, I have my faith. I think that God maybe was speaking to me. I don't really know how to put that, but my mother's instinct maybe just to not have them get fully loaded up, catching up with their shots. So that's a good thing. I did not make the connection with my first son's eczema. I did not make the connection. I did not know that was an adverse reaction. He had severe, I considered, bleeding skin from his sites of his body, like behind the knees and ankles, and his face would be bleeding. He had severe eczema. I didn't know that was connected to vaccinations. Also, he did have pneumonia and developed asthma. That was my first son, and he's 9.5 now. So, a lot of what my story right now, the journey I'm kind of on right now, is looking back over my years of motherhood, going, oh my gosh, why didn't I see that my children are susceptible? They're sensitive to this stuff, and had I known.
I think all of these stories we're hearing on the road is making every parent who's vaccinated their child think, oh my gosh, it wasn't my breast milk, or it wasn't this, or colic, it was the vaccine.
Oh, the colic thing. I had a child. Yeah. So I have different moments through each of my children that I think back now and I go, wow, it makes so much more sense now that it could have been correlated to the vaccine they got just 5-7 days before. So to speed up, the story I'm here to tell right now really is my youngest son, Samuel. I waited to give him his first and only vaccine until he was, my plan was to vaccinate him with one thing, even though it was a triple, at around 6 months old. I wanted to just to start really slow, and I wanted him to start out his life just pure and free from all that. So still I would consider myself vaccine cautious, but not anti-vaccine at that point. And so that's what I did. He was born, we went home from the hospital, he didn't even have vitamin K. And then he developed wonderfully, beautifully, perfectly. I don't think he even ever had a cold. He just was a champion baby, and was the milestones of developmental progress he was making was just right on. And again, with my kind of, I think I'd always a frazzled mom or something, and so I kind of missed that 6-month baby checkup. And so I went in at 7 months. So it was at 7 months that he got his DTaP vaccine. And I asked the doctor, I told him that, he wanted me to really get him going, have many more than just the DTaP. And I said, no, I came in here just wanting the one. And it's even more than I would want, to be honest with you, because it is 3 vaccines, and that makes me nervous. But you're telling me, which he did, this big outbreak. This was in 2004. I think in 2014 there was a big outbreak of pertussis, whooping cough, and I kind of like to say that quote unquote because I'm not even sure how big of this outbreak there really was. But so he was telling me that there's something to be really afraid of. Your son could be, this could be life-threatening to him if he does not get vaccinated for pertussis. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's the one we'll start with. And so we did. And all the while, I did have that feeling like, it was just that feeling of like, oh, I should just go. What? There's no gun to my head here. I could just take him. I could just leave right now. But I didn't. And so we got it. And I gave him Tylenol after. And I have been reading some interesting things that could cause even more damage. I don't know the science of it, but I know that there's something with giving a child Tylenol or ibuprofen or that can, I think it's with the blood-brain barrier. And anyway, so now speeding forward.
How was he after the vaccine?
He got just mild fever, nothing that really set my alarm bells off, but I was expecting there to be a mild fever. He slept a lot. He didn't have any crazy crying. I kind of was worriedly watching him, actually. And then it wasn't until my mom said within a week of the vaccine, I heard her, she was over, and I heard her say out loud what I had thought in my head. She said, I can't get his attention. Sammy, Sammy, look over here. Hey, buddy. All the ways that we were with him. And he just was off. He just was not present. And that continued. And absolutely, I think I was a little bit afraid to really have those thoughts strongly and to kind of in denial, I think. Like, why is he changing? So I told the doctor at 9 months, hey, I'm noticing some funny things. What do you think about this? And I know it's kind of, is it too early to talk about like autism? Is it too early to say that I noticed that he's doing weird things now? He rocks his head back and forth. He's just violently rocking his head back and forth. He's not crying. He seems totally fine. In fact, sometimes he does it with a smile. He likes it. But why does he do that now? And why won't he look at my eyes? And sorry.
Just take your time. It's fine. This is okay.
So I just asking those questions inside, and occasionally with my husband, because he and I are not wanting to sit there really and it be so fearful about these things that could be nothing, but we're noticing. And then so the doctors said, well, it's a little early, which I get that. It's a little early to tell. And I should be very clear. He never went again for one more vaccine. I had just immediately something's going on.
So
he's had one dose ever in his life.
And he reacted to that one.
Yes.
Can you imagine if he had what he was supposed to get?
Oh my gosh, I think about it all the time. I think about, oh my gosh, what if I didn't know? And what if I just continued to poison his little body? And so I can try to regain myself here. So we had we switched doctors. I was very thankful. It was an insurance change thing. So I was thankful to see a new doctor who seemed to take my things I'm noticing a little bit more seriously. And that was at 12 months. I took him in to see her. And I told her that now at 12 months, I'm thinking, okay, can we start talking? Can you start looking at him to to see if you're noticing autism. I know it's so early, but here's the signs and here's what I'm reading. And I want to get ahead of it. I'm not wanting to just slap a diagnosis on the kid. I'm just wanting to be aware and take this seriously. So she did. She said she acknowledged what I had seen and the red flags I was seeing. She understood and actually saw some too. And then got me started with early intervention because his milestones. Okay, that was one of the big things, is that he's progressing wonderfully, and then started absolutely slowing down to a snail's pace. In fact, regressed to 2 to 4 month developmental stage for the next, really, I would say for maybe a year and a half of his life, until he's about a year and a half old. That was his developmental stages. And he had surpassed that in his 7 months before being vaccinated. So he regressed in his milestones, and then just started really going very slowly with things. And, you know, he's my 5th child, so I know that children are unique from one another. They don't all develop the same way, and all my kids did things differently, but this was just absolutely differently. Okay, so now I would just love to show a picture, but I don't know. Okay, so now he's 2.5 now. At 2 years old, he was given his diagnosis for autism, and it was at 13 months old that he started his early intervention his therapy is really, it was like playtime floor therapy. Can I just find the picture? That's actually what it is called. At first, because he's so young, it was just I would call it something similar to like an OT, like occupational therapy, but it was floor time play. So just a lot of just teaching him, like fine motor skill stuff, trying to get him to imitate a sound or movement of the mouth or that kind of thing, and just really a lot of playing. And okay, here he is. This is
so he's doing much better now.
Okay, so now he is starting to progress. My sweet boy.
Yeah, he's really cute.
He is so cute.
Look at that.
So now he's doing, he's still autistic. And
is he talking?
He has more words. Mm-hmm. He's considered nonverbal still, but he's gaining words. After we did the early intervention, because he's just still a little guy, we switched to more of an ABA therapy. That was for about a year long. And now we've moved from that to, I don't know if any autism parents watching know about the Sunrise program, but I went to the startup program in Massachusetts, and we're doing Sunrise therapy and loving it. And also we do gluten-free, dairy-free, very, very little sugar. And no soy, all kinds of things. I'm trying to strengthen up gut health. I'm trying to help his little body from the very inside. And yeah, I'm doing all the things.
That's great. And have you put his name on the bus?
Not yet.
Well, I think we should go and do that.
I want to do that. Yeah.
Let's do it now.
Yeah, she's just going to write her name on the bus, and then we'll...
Oh, that is so... Who's next to go in?
It was nice to meet you.
This one. Yeah, well, do you know what it was? What number is it?
4, 7, 3, 3, 8, yeah.
4, 7, 3, 8. And then my son's name?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Some people do have number budgets.
Number budget? Oh, with like the same
numbers. Wonderful. Thank you so much for telling your story, and keep in contact. Periscope love you, okay?
Thank you so much.
Alright, I'm going to come off Periscope. Here we go. Thank you, Riley. Well done.